It was like a thing. What's up, guys? So this year I learned something mildly upsetting about Halloween candy, and by mildly upsetting I mean my entire childhood was a lie in regards to Halloween candy. So this year I learned that there has never been like a legitimate documented case. Hi Callie, what are you doing? So this year I learned that there has never been like a legitimate documented case of strangers handing out poisoned candy to kids, or handing out like apples with razor blades in them, or any of that kind of stuff.
It's all a lie.
I'm sure you guys have also like heard these rumors about like, you know, poisoned stuff on Halloween, and being really careful and checking your candy and going to safe places to trick or treat. But like, it literally dictated how I trick-or-treated as a child. I was pretty much restricted to one cul-de-sac where my great-grandma lived, in like this old people home, as being like a safe place to trick-or-treat, and then just like relatives' houses. That was pretty much it. Like, I wasn't really allowed to trick-or-treat as a kid. And a large part of that was because my mom was scared of like poison and things, or like razor blades and apples. Like, all the razor blades and apples was a big one for her. Like, she literally, if we got an apple, she'd cut them up, and then she was like, what if there's needles in the apples? So like, one year we just threw our fruit away because she's like, what if they like syringed poison into them? It was like a thing. And then of course, back in the day, because I'm so old, a lot of like the older people would give you like popcorn balls or like homemade goodies, you know, instead of giving you like store-bought candy, and we had to just throw all of that away. And then my mom also like inspected our candy that we did get, and we threw some of that away as well if it was like in any way, shape, or form abnormal, even if abnormal was actually normal, but she was just paranoid. When I heard all of this was like fake, the first thing I did was of course text my mom and tell her that she ruined my life. And then the second thing that I did was of course Google it. I'm just kidding about texting my mom, you guys. I actually went in person to her classroom to tell her that she ruined my life. So when I Googled it, what I found out was this guy right here. He's a professor and author of some really great books, including Kids Gone Wild, From Rainbow Parties to Sexting, Understanding the Hype of Teen Sex, and the Joel E. Best Songbook. Now, he's also a research scientist in the fine art of candy tampering, and he works out of the University of Delaware doing this research, or he used to. He's now like in his 80s, so I don't think he does it anymore, but maybe he still does. Now, he did a ton of research on this entire topic of candy tampering, and discovered that very few of the claims of kids getting poisoned by candy, especially by strangers, were true. In fact, none of the claims of kids getting poisoned by strangers were true. Now, I have done a little bit of research on this, and it seems like in recent times there might have been like 1 or 2 rare cases where like one child was poisoned or found a nail in their candy, but I still couldn't really find evidence to back that up, because his research is like from 2000 or so, so the last like 17 years were not included. However, his research went all the way back to the 70s, and what he found was that there were only 2 cases of kids who were really poisoned by candy on Halloween, and neither of those cases were the kids poisoned by strangers. In both cases, it was by a family member. Now, one of these little kids was a 5-year-old who got into his uncle's heroin stash, and his family decided to sprinkle heroin on his candy to kind of cover up for the uncle, so that his uncle wouldn't get in trouble. The second instance was when this guy right here, or should I say monster, poisoned his 8-year-old son using cyanide to get life insurance money. Now, this guy also tried poisoning his daughter and 3 neighbor kids. It just happens that those kids didn't actually eat the candy, so they survived. And his daughter also had a life insurance policy, and then the neighbor kids were just to kind of cover up for the fact that he was poisoning his kids for money. Obviously, he was caught and arrested. He eventually ended up on death row and was killed by lethal injection. What's interesting is that these events took place in the 70s, yet every single year there will be some news story or some article or some Facebook post that will pop up and warn you that local police in a city near you, wherever you may happen to be, are warning people about the dangers of candy tampering, and like, watch out for any Snickers that look a little too lumpy, or watch out for pixie sticks that look like they might have been opened, or watch out for dots or things that could be easily resealed. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I've seen them on Facebook every single year. Now, Mr. Best had a couple of theories as to why we see these myths reborn every single year. And unsurprisingly, they both have to do with financial gain. So his first speculation is that stores and shopping malls and different centers like to be able to say that they are a safe place for kids to come and trick or treat. I am very well aware of this. There are lots of pizza shops that I know of locally where I live that allow kids to come trick or treat, and in return they give them candy bars, and then they're hoping that the parents will also buy pizza. A lot of them have like Halloween specials on the day of Halloween. There are also like malls that offer like you can come and trick or treat in all the stores, and of course the hope of all of this is that people will buy stuff while they're there and letting their kids trick or treat. I think though that it's also a win-win in that by it being a safe place and letting kids come and trick or treat there, the stores kind of win like a store of the year award. Yeah, Macy's let my kid come trick or treat. I love Macy's. You know what I mean? Like, it makes the brand look better. His second speculation really works better for like a few years ago than it does for right now, and that is that candy manufacturers love to be able to promote their candy as being like a better alternative to homemade goods, like popcorn balls or other things that people give out at Halloween. Now, those were still a little bit popular when I was a kid, but like when my mom was a kid, that would have been all you would have had, right? So obviously in the last 20, 30 years, that kind of has gone out of trend. People are going to be much more cautious of homemade goodies if poisoning and putting razor blades or needles and things is a thing. In that case, not only are parents going to throw away homemade goods in favor of like packaged goods, but people who make homemade goodies are kind of being told like, hey, nobody's gonna want your homemade goodies, so you should come buy our mini Snickers bars or whatever. Now, besides those places benefiting off of these rumors being perpetuated, I think that it is natural tendency for humans to think of like the worst and try to protect their kids, and it does seem very plausible that people could poison candy or put razor blades and things. Like, it does seem like it could happen. So I think because of that, the media kind of takes advantage of it, and if they hear of like a story, they'll share it, or they'll share like the dangers of like Halloween. Or you have to remember, websites, magazines, any type of like news outlet, they get money by having very shareable, very readable content. So of course, parents who are already concerned about the safety of their children, who read these articles and then share them with their friends, they're going to be making a lot of money off of them. So all of a sudden, you have a lot of people being very concerned very quickly, and you have a lot of other people making a lot of money off of it. I don't know, the whole thing's perplexing to me because it really was like my childhood was slightly less fun because of it. But hopefully, if like you have heard of these rumors, or your parents have, or if you are a parent and you've heard of this, like, be reassured a little bit that it's not like a super common thing. It could still happen. If you get poisoned, not my fault. There you have it. That is the truth about Halloween candy. If you liked it, it'd be cool if you liked it down below. And also make sure you guys subscribe. I'm putting out a new video every single day during October. They're gonna be either Halloween or creepy oriented videos because I'm obsessed with Halloween content and I can't get enough of it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.